So I want to start off by saying thank you so much for clicking on this video and all the feedback and the comments that you left. It really meant a lot to me. And I want one quick reminder, please remember to subscribe to Worksheet One's YouTube channel where you will get the latest updates on new videos. So let's get started on what we came to talk about. So today I'm actually wanting to do a book review on a book that I recently read. And I'm very excited because the author is a really good friend of mine. In fact, she's my best friend, and she's gonna probably laugh when she sees it because I didn't tell her I was doing this, so it's hopefully a good surprise. Hey, Chiquita. She actually wrote a book, so I'm really proud of her for doing that, but her book is actually really powerful. So her book is called The Millennial Money Thinking, okay, by Chiquita Millette. And I had the pleasure of reading this book. I've read it at least twice, once because I really wanted to read it, and second because I wanted to do this video on her book. It is a very short read, so I'm not going to spoil it doing my review today, but it is a very powerful read about finances and just thinking. So I'm going to share with you my perception of the book in order to encourage you to purchase it or try reading it for yourself. So this actually can be found on Amazon. You can buy the hard copy, which I prefer because I like to have a physical book in my hand, or you could download a digital copy as well. Please continue to support her and her financial blessing, right? Okay, so let's get started. So I want to talk about 3 things that I really loved about this book. Not just because she's my best friend, I automatically love it. But I want to talk about some really key things that I particularly took away from the book that I really enjoyed. And again, I don't want to spoil this for you. I really encourage you to read it. It is a very nice, sweet and short read. So I don't want to give too much. But the first thing I want to talk about is her analogy using the lion, the meat, and the chain. And so really quick here, the lion essentially is you or I. The meat is essentially our blessing, and the chain is, I would say, like sin or poor decision making, putting yourself in a box, that kind of thing. And so I really enjoyed that analogy because it really helped to shape the reader's expectations about the book. One particular thing that I really like is that the message of this particular example is pretty much telling you, you are responsible for your financial success and also failures, right? This analogy pretty much tells you, you make your decisions, right? And so your decisions can be based on a lot of things. So again, not gonna spoil it, but the lion essentially makes a critical decision in her book. And you will find it very interesting and how it relates to finances. I know that I myself have a testimony that I could share about how I made a critical decision in my financial journey that helped me along the way, but I'm going to share that in a different video. I'm going to do a book review of another book that I'll reference in this video for a moment, but I'm going to do a separate book review on that. But I really enjoyed that analogy. It was a simple analogy about how we need to think differently about our finances, right? Current state. So the second item I wanted to talk about is something that she coins as telling your money story. And this is really significant because it takes you back. It reminds you that in order to move forward, you have to understand what decisions you've made in the past that'll help you figure out what your new story will be. And so I really like this because I identified with this early on in my journey. I identify with this money story because my money story is probably one that you're very familiar with. So college student, debt, graduating, doesn't have any money, right? How do you figure that out? And so my money story was very similar to other people, but there were some small elements in it that really shaped the reason why I had landed where I was. And I think when Chiquita calls this out is understanding your money story. This really will help you understand where you need to go, or really where you shouldn't go as a result of financial freedom or making better financial decisions. And so again, I'm not going to spoil this. So she mentions a book in the Bible, Matthew, which is one of my favorites, and she uses one of the parables from Matthew about the servant and the talent. You'll find this very interesting. I would encourage you to read the scripture yourself to get a good understanding, because it's contextual, right? So we start off with this story about 3 servants who were given a lot of money. The end of the parable essentially ends with one of the servants who did not follow through on what the master asked them to do. And so this is significant because in the context of finances, we understand biblically that God has asked us to fulfill a purpose. And part of our purpose is making decisions that honor him. And so honoring him doesn't necessarily mean making a lot of money, right? It's about following through on God's purpose, right? And then God will continue to take care of us. He will continue to bless us, as he talked about in Matthew, where he says that the flowers of the field, they're taking care of, the birds of the air, they're taken care of, and God still continues to take care of them. Why should we think of that? Why should we think ourselves any different than flowers or birds? And God continues to love and care for us. What's really important about this particular scripture is it's really about understanding what God asks us to do and really following through on that. So we think about money and we're like, wait a minute, God, so you're saying you want me to invest $100, right? It's really not that simple, right? It is, but think about if, so for example, God says, Janine, I want to give you $50 and I want you to invest this money into Worksheet 1, right? And so, however, my child of God, Janine, you are responsible for honoring me through Worksheet 1, right? So not only am I responsible for honoring God, but now God has given me God's given me the resources or the ability to be able to perform and reach a lot of people, right? If I choose to not invest that money, imagine the amount of people who will not be blessed, right? So that's really kind of what you have to think about. It's not about the quantity of money. It's about following through on God's purpose and following through on what God has called us to do. And part of that is being able to manage our lives effectively, right? Which leads me to my next point. So the third point that I really like about this book is that Chiquita ends this book with some suggestions on what resources you could tap into. And one particular resource that I want to highlight is access to a mentor. Now, it's no surprise, right? I myself am a mentor. My business, Worksheet 1, is structured in a way to give access to women to resources or me, who is able to help you interview, go through any tough career questions that you may have, strategize and figure out how you want to navigate your career path going forward, all kinds of things. My entire goal is to mentor women, right? And so knowing that you have resources, right? So mentor is just one resource. Her book is just another resource. Millennial Money Think is another resource. It's really important that you not only just tap into one resource, right? God is saying, Janine, I am giving you access to this book. I'm giving you access to your friend Chiquita, who is constantly always speaking positively about finances, right? I'm giving you access to all of these things. It is your responsibility to follow through on those things. And inadvertently, you will honor me. You will share your testimony. You will talk about how God has blessed you or how you've learned over the years. And so that's one thing that I really enjoyed about reading her book, is that she mentioned the mentor piece. And I think that is extremely critical. In fact, I think that is underlooked. I don't think people think about having access to a mentor and how easy it is to get one. So I think all in all, without spoiling the book, again, I really wanted to be respectful for those who actually, I think you should buy the book. I think you need to do it today. Amazon, you can download, again, the digital copy or that hard copy, and it'll be mailed to you. But I want to just say, this is a really awesome book, a good short read, and I think it will change your life. And then I hope you figure out what direction you need to go in terms of making better financial decisions. So the last thing I want to say is, So while I do enjoy making these videos, it's actually something that creativity is one of the things that I'm very good at. I really enjoy it as well. I find a lot of pleasure in doing it. I do this video not just to be creative, but to share with people the importance of having a mentor. And I myself am a mentor, and I want to tell you, let me be your mentor. You may be in a place in your career where you're just not sure if this is the right career path for you. You may be questioning whether or not you went to school for the right education, right? Or you may have questions about interview style, or you may be getting ready to rewrite your resume. Let me be your mentor. Let me help you through that process. I've been mentoring people and leading for years. My education is in leadership. I'm currently pursuing my PhD in leadership and management. And I really take this very seriously. And so if you're interested, you can call me at 919-726-4545. Call me, leave me a voicemail. I will most certainly get back to you. The first call is completely free. We can talk about what we want to do next. We'll go into what the plan should be, but the first call is just an introductory. I'm happy to sit down and go over what I think the next step should be after we do a small introduction. So again, 919-726-4544. Reach out to me anytime. I'll get back to you right away. Again, thank you so much for tuning into my video, and I hope you really enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. So thank you so much. All right, bye.